Okay, so here's a quick explainer of how I'm doing my bullshit cam profile stuff. So I'm not, instead of doing all the complicated math, this is my really interesting way of coming about it. So it's like mayan astronomy. I don't really know how it works, but it seems to add up once it's printed. So these points here are the travel of the cam. So that's the pivot point, that's the roller, and then this is a cam I've already assembled. And it's 15 degrees forward and back, so that's 3-degree increments. And then what I'm doing is, or then I have these, which are my estimation of the center of pressure on this lever. So this is the pivot point of the single cam. It's a dual cam system, but they're symmetrical. So this is the pivot point of the cam. This is its arm. So this is my estimation of where the center of pressure would be based on its rotation. So then what I do, so I've already done a linear cam, which you can see the points of where 3 degrees of the change of the roller results in 3 degrees of the change of this roller, or sorry, of this lever. Now I'm doing an exponent curve, which I think is a 2 exponent curve. So the way I calculate it is I calculate it in quotation marks. I draw a line from the origin of the lever, and then I find where this guy meets its center of pressure on its travel, its neutral position essentially. So I kind of have to eyeball it a little bit there, right? So it doesn't have to be super precise. Actually, I can't zoom in all the way because you won't see what I'm doing, so it's not going to be very precise. But basically, I'll zoom in to kind of get it vaguely in the position. Then I tab over, and then I have the controls. So those are the degrees that would line up in a neutral, like if there was no movement, like if there's no movement of the lever, right? And then here is where I then add. So I've written down all the values. So actually, I need to add the. So that's the 12 degrees of roller position, so that's a 9.6. And then I enter that. And now I have the length like of on the axis of how far out it should be, but then the angle of displacement. So that what ends up happening, which if let me just finish the sketch, and so I'm not finished with it, and turn it off so we can look at the original sketch here, is then what I do is I then draw circles based on all of these positions, which you can see in yellow here. And then I do the Bezier curve using the circle edges on the center of pressure. So basically where the bearing is going to be making its contact on the lever. That's where I draw the points for the Bezier curve, and I do a little bit of tweaking. Like I added a couple extra points here, but basically that's how the profile gets carved. And once that's cut into the object I obviously have for the lever, and do a little bit of smoothing and things like that, it works actually really well. So this is my very odd way of avoiding all the complicated mathematics of hand drawing a lever curve.